All right, so today we are taking a look at the ASG CZ P-10C. This is obviously an Airsoft replica, and this is the American version, which means it's the Optic ready with the threaded barrel with CO2 mags. So that's sort of the three key features of the American version. Now, to get out of the way, when you first get this gun, it is going to have the Optic mount pre-installed. The Optic mount dovetails into where the rear sight is. Included in the box is a standard rear sight, which I have installed on mine. I basically immediately swapped it out for the standard iron sights, just because I really like how this gun looks with the iron sights. I will show you how it looks with the red dot mount and the red dot later on in the video, but this is how I have it set up right now. It comes with 22 round CO2 magazines. Green gas magazines do exist. However, this gun is definitely designed for CO2, so I would recommend using the CO2 magazines. And it shoots at about 330 feet per second is approximately the velocity. Now, obviously, that's going to change a little bit, but those are sort of the basics. On the bottom here, there is a safety in the spot where the serial number would be on the real one. This is just that sort of safety that just completely blocks out the trigger. Again, this is one of the things where once I buy a gun like this, I immediately turn this off of safety so it's on fire, and I never touch this ever again, because this gun does have a trigger safety, which accomplishes my field's requirement for safety, and will accomplish that requirement for most other places as well, this being a functional safety on the gun. Now, it is a metal slide, metal barrel. It is threaded, as I said earlier. This is the standard Airsoft threads, so it's the 14mm counterclockwise threads. Now, the only issue is that the orange is painted on, so it is quite a bit thicker than it should be. So you may have a hard time installing like a suppressor or a tracer unit until you remove the orange. So you either use some form of paint remover, or even just if you want to be destructive, use a wire brush. I am more of a destructive guy, so I typically use wire brushes. I have not on this one yet, though. But if you do want to install a suppressor, you will need to take off the orange paint, most likely. The magazine release here is a reversible magazine release. So out of the box, it's going to be on the right-hand shooter side, but you can flip it to be left-hand shooter style if you want to. It does also have a ambidextrous slide catch, so if you cock the slide, you can get the catch there, and you can operate it left-handed or right-handed. It's on both sides, which is nice, and it is a pretty large slide catch, so you're definitely not going to miss it when you go to release the slide. The only issue is it is big, so you may accidentally hold on to it while shooting and prevent the slide from locking back, which is a potential issue you may have. That is an issue I have with the way I hold my guns. I normally have my thumb sitting on some sort of a ledge, which in this case, the only ledge here is the slide catch, which is not good for me, but depending on who you are, it could be perfectly fine, a complete non-issue. The grip texture on this is really nice. It is very grippy. It's not super aggressive, but it is grippy, and it doesn't look bad aesthetically. There is also grip texture up here at the top for your support hand thumb to be on when you're shooting. The back here, there is replaceable backstraps. So pre-installed on the gun, you get the medium backstrap. I have had zero reason to want to change this from the medium to a different size. It does come included in the box with both a small and a large additionally. So small, it's going to have a little letter next to it. It says like small there, and then this one is going to say large at the bottom as well, and then this one is going to say medium, obviously, so it's easy to not get them mixed up, unlike some companies that'll have it where it's hard to tell unless you actually like try them and feel them in your hand. And the size of this gun is essentially exactly the same size as a Glock 19. It just is a tiny bit longer in the grip area and the back area here. But the actual front area, so like from here forwards, is the exact same size as a Glock 19. And the real gun manufacturer designed this so it would fit into Glock holsters, so you don't need to buy a new holster for your CZ gun. And the same thing is true with the Airsoft version. The Airsoft CZ P-10C is compatible with just normal Glock holsters. So you don't have to buy a new holster. This will just fit in your normal Glock holster, which is nice, 99% of the time. Obviously, there's some use cases where it may not fit, especially when it comes to the barrel, because this is a threaded barrel. So your holster would need to at least accommodate a threaded barrel for it to function, at least. The trigger on this gun is honestly one of the nicest triggers I have ever shot. This basically puts to shame any other airsoft trigger that I have felt, even like an upgraded high kappa trigger, which those are famously like the best trigger you can get is just an upgraded high kappa. This one is extremely light. There's a very like obvious wall and then an extremely crisp and light break. And this honestly, there's no real way to explain it unless you do it yourself. I recommend going to your local airsoft shop to try it out. But honestly, this is the best trigger I have ever felt on an airsoft gun ever. It makes me wish that a lot of other guns would have a trigger like this. I'm not just saying that to say that. Like, I legitimately, this is the best trigger I've ever felt. Then I have this one comes with a CO2 mag. Obviously, as I said before, 22 rounds. And the way the slide catch will interact with the magazine is not like normal. So normally you would have these mag catches or these catches here. This shows some catches here, but this is just to replicate the real mag, because the real CZ mag is sort of a one-size-fits-all magazine, so it works with a bunch of different guns. This gun doesn't use the side ones, same thing with the real one. The real one and this one use a cutout up here. So there's a little notch that it grabs onto, and it's a little paddle. So if I go ahead, it should go on the inside. Hopefully you can see when I press it, it's a little paddle that moves out of the way, like so. And you know, it is definitely a way to do it. I do know that I have had seen people have issues with this sort of mag release system on the CZ P-10C. Over time, I don't know exactly what it is, either the spring on the mag catch or the mag catch or the interface here. Something gets worn out and these mags will drop out of the gun after you shoot one time because the recoiling back, and the way that paddle is, it's sort of in line with the recoil, which is not great, and it could potentially fall out of the gun. So you just need to keep that in mind and pay attention to it. I've only seen it a couple times. That may have been a fluke, but I'm not sure. I really don't know. I haven't had that issue with this one yet, but I know that is an issue that I have seen before. And as far as shooting the gun obviously will lock back on the last shot, but it is extremely snappy. It's a really nice feeling gun. I think my CO2 cartridge is running low. I've had the CO2 cartridge sitting in here for like almost a week now, but as you saw, it was pretty snappy, and it feels really nice, to be honest with you. And I don't have much else to say about this. I am going to go ahead and install the rear sight, or not the rear sight, the red dot plate and system in here so you can see what that looks like. And this is essentially compatible with only one type of red dot. It's the ASG red dot. I don't know exactly what this is called, but this is the one that's sold by ASG. It's like a micro dot, and it is a nice dot. It has a really good, like very crisp dot, and it is a pretty large MOA dot. I don't know exactly what size the dot is, but it's pretty large and it's crisp, which is nice. The only issue a lot of people have with this is it's the red dot itself is plastic. So if you drop it or bang it against something, there's potential for it to break. But I mean, I don't drop it or break it, so it's fine for me. But just keep that in mind. And I do know that you can get aftermarket plates that do different red dots. I know those exist. I'm going to go ahead and get this swapped out. That's what the slide looks like when you have just the plate on there and no dot. Obviously, it's really hard to aim down because you don't have a rear sight. and it is annoying that this gun comes like this out of the box. So in America, the way that you're going to get the gun is going to have the rear sight replaced with this red dot plate. So the red dot plate is installed with no red dot. Is the way that most Americans are greeted with the gun, and they will have to install the rear sight in by themselves, which is included in the box. It just is not installed, which is kind of annoying. So now I have the red dot installed, and you can see how it looks with the red dot installed. Right. Oh, and one thing you may need to keep in mind is this red dot plate. The plate itself is actually pretty thin. I don't know if you can see, but you can see there's some light shining through. This plate can bend, and it bends pretty easily, so you definitely do not want to rack the gun with the red dot. I know a lot of people do that. I do that personally when I have red dots on my guns, but in this case, you do not want to do that for sure. You will definitely end up damaging the plate, which in turn can damage the dot. But yeah, this gun is definitely a really nice gun. I do like it. Everybody I've had just like test fire this real quick has been impressed. It is definitely nice. The main issue people have with it is it's just kind of a little bit weird, because it's like a Glock, but it's not a Glock, and it's not a Glock clone. It's sort of a Glock, like super close competitor, basically, which is a little bit weird for people. But it is a very nice gun. So yeah, not much else to say. I mean, the internals are, as far as I'm aware, pretty much all proprietary except for the inner barrel and the bucking. Besides those two, most of the parts on the inside are proprietary. But I don't see where they need to change anything until something breaks. But honestly, there will probably be a lot of upgrade parts coming out over time from CL Project. They like to do all the CZ airsoft guns with upgrades and customizations, so there'll probably be parts in the future from them. I know that they do have a couple parts out currently, like they have a steel slide and barrel kit, which is something I may want to do in the future, but it is expensive, so I may not, because the stock setup is perfectly fine in my opinion. But yeah, that's it. Have a nice day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if this video was useful for you. And make sure you check out the link down below. That is a link to our Discord server, and you are welcome to join. All right, have a nice day.